So I wanted to do an overview of the Black Flame pitching machines, one of the three pitching machines from Louisville Slugger, and it's really the next step up from the Blue Flame UPM 45 pitching machine. So the Black Flame, just to go through some of the main components of the Black Flame here, so you understand what I'm referring to. So you'll notice that we've got a standard throwing arm here that we're going to be dealing with. We have the micro adjustment knob right here that we'll be going over the features of. We have our power pedal lever here to apply tension to the throwing spring. And then we have the release arm here that we're gonna be able to adjust. Now, just to point out a couple of things about this one, you'll notice some labels on the sides of the throwing arm, the sides of the power pedal, and also the sides of the actual throwing arm. And on the top of the machine here, we've got different speed settings that tell you what settings to have to get different types of speeds. So we have all the way up to 50 miles an hour or better. And so we'll go through some of those settings, but I wanted to show you how the pitching machine operates. It's very similar to our other pitching machines. All of our mechanical pitching machines kind of operate in the same way. But in order to throw a pitch, I've got it set up with a very simple level pitch. If I bring the throwing arm back and put it under the release block here, I'm just going to drop my baseball right on the throwing arm here. Now with the power pedal, I'm going to push down, and all that does is apply tension to the spring, and it allows it to load up. So once it's loaded, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back very moderately on the throwing arm here, on the release lever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back, try not to jerk it, and I'm just going to do this. And what it does is releases the pitch based on the settings that I have there. So very simple to operate, simple to reload. I can throw any type of ball. So sometimes you want to throw tennis balls, you want to throw restricted flight balls, you might want to throw a softball as well. Same idea with the softball, same tension, pull it back, and away you go. Now, depending on whether it's slow pitch softball or fast pitch softball or whatever, you may have to adjust the speed settings and the trajectory of the ball in order to match gameplay. So I guess next I'll kind of show you how to adjust this for different types of throws. So all of our pitching machines will allow you to throw ground balls, fly balls, or straight pitches. So just to show you the setup to throw ground balls, you'll see on the side here of back to the side of the release arm here, the side of the throwing arm, and then the power pedal. If I want to increase the speed or decrease the speed, all I'm going to do, there's a little pin here that I've released, and I'm going to take this. If I want to go up to the very highest settings here, I'm going to put it at number 11 here, or number 12 on this machine. This has an extra speed setting compared to the Blue Flame pitching machine, so it'll throw a little bit faster. So this is maximum speed for this item. Now, if I want to throw ground balls, what I'm going to do, you'll see here at the top of the throwing arm release lever here, we've got ground ball or fly ball at the bottom. If I want to throw ground balls, I'm just going to use this triangle knob and unscrew the throwing arm block, and I'm going to put it right at the top here where it says ground ball. And I'll screw this back in. Now, that by itself is going to start throwing the ball downwards. So just to demonstrate what it looks like here, same operation. you'll see how it sits on a higher angle now. When I apply pressure and throw, it's going to be at a much lower angle. I'm not going to get strikes being thrown across the plate. It's going to hit the dirt probably about 15 feet in front of the machine, and it's going to simulate a ground ball for players. So it's a really good addition if you don't have the ability to hit ground balls and things like that. It's a good addition. I've used it in the past for blocking drills with catchers and things like this that I don't want to be throwing the ball all day, so I'll load up with the machine and do that. Now, if I wanted to, again, make that grounder go straight down into the dirt, I'm going to use my micro adjustment here. And for the micro adjustment, once I get it unscrewed, I'm going to move that down to the lower pitch setting, right at the base of this. And when I do that, and I put my triangular block back on here, what that's going to do is just going to make a little bit further distance back towards the machine on the grounder. So if I throw this now, it goes right into the dirt. So it's a little different, but you can usually get away with doing the grounders if you just do the release lever here, if you move that up here. Now, the opposite is also true. If I want to throw fly balls, I'm going to take this release block and I'm going to move it right down to the bottom for the highest trajectory as I can get. I'm going to attach it there. And I'm going to do the same thing here, except I'm going to move it up to the very top of the throwing arm. So the micro adjustment goes up here. This is really going to allow us to have the highest fly ball possible, and great for loading up different types of balls if you're working with young kids and you want them to get over the fear of fly balls. You know, load up some tennis balls or load up some SWAX training balls or things like this, and I'll throw them nice high fly balls, but they're not going to be worried about getting crunched in the head by a ball. So now all I'm going to do, you can see the different sort of setup. I'm going to move this a little closer to the net, and I'm going to apply some pressure, and away you go. So that one's going to be the furthest and highest distance I can get. But with this pitching machine, I'll just spin this around so you can see it, we have this extra attachment here. And I'll just take this off. This is included. So you can see it's just a little attachment here. And what this is for is to replace this triangle block at the top. So if you want to get a little extra distance, so I'm going to take this off. I'll just set this to the side for now. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to throw that in there. And you can see how that fits inside the channel of the throwing arm. And what it does is just allows for the ball to roll off the top. And when the ball rolls off the top, it's going to allow it to go that much further. So the operation of the machine doesn't change. If I throw a standard baseball, I'm going to drop that in there, move this a little closer to the net. It's going to operate the same, but it's going to have a much higher trajectory coming off for fly balls. So that's just an added feature you get with this one, is you get a little faster speeds, but then you get this extra attachment, the fly ball attachment, just allowing you to throw higher fly balls. And a little convenient holding spot on the side of the machine. You just put it back in there and reattach it, and it's there when you want it. So it's really up to you how you want to set this up for those fly balls and grounders. So that gives you a quick overview of those. So next I want to kind of go over one of the other main issues that we encounter with our customers dealing with the pitching machine, and that's really setting it up for consistency, but also dialing it in for practices and games. So I'm just going to put this triangle bracket back on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up for just a standard pitch. And I'll show you what I would do when I arrive at practice or when I arrive at games, and I want to set it up before the players start hitting. So I'm just going to put this right in the middle on the throwing arm. So this micro adjustment, going to put right there. And I'm going to put our release block right in the middle of the settings here. So there's 7 settings, so if I put it on the 4th hole here, that should be set up for a standard straight pitch. So the only other thing to consider is the age of the kids and the skill level, because right now we've got this set up at the maximum speed setting. Now for some kids that's too fast. So I may want to lower that speed based on the age of the kids. So I'm gonna drop it down to number 7 on the speed settings here. I'm gonna just lock that in. So what I would typically do on the field, I'd show up at practice. Ideally, this wants to be as level as possible on the field. So you may be on a mound. If you're on a mound, just make some adjustments to try and flatten out the trajectory of the pitch. If anything, you can be a little bit in front of the mound and use a protective screen. But all I do, I go up there, I have it set to the speed that I want, the basic pitch, and I throw towards the batter's box, and then I see, okay, is it in the right zone in the batter's box? Do I need to bring it up or down? The very first thing is recognizing that if you're a distance back from the batter's box, you may want to raise the pitch or lower the pitch depending on the distance. So with the micro adjustment, there's 2 things you can do. If the pitch was in the batter's box and it was reasonably good, this little micro adjustment knob here, if I'm turning that a few turns, that's going to, if you look here, it's going to lower your pitch. It's going to move the point at which the ball is released down. So it's going to actually lower the pitch just slightly. It might be 1 inch, might be 2 inches. And then if I loosen this micro adjustment screw, the opposite. It's going to move it up in the strike zone. Just micro adjustments, 1 inch or 2. If that's not enough, then if you're 60 feet back from the batter's box, you may need to raise the pitch a little bit further. So all you would do is take your micro adjustment, move it up 1 notch at a time, put it in there, you're all set to go. Test it 1 more time before the batters come in. Now, if that pitch was where you want it to be, then all you should have to do at this point is if a batter comes in that's a little taller, you're gonna loosen the micro adjustment screw to bring it up in the strike zone. If the batter's a little bit shorter, you tighten the micro adjustment screw to bring it down, and that's all you should have to do. But it's those little things that once you get used to the machine and start setting it up early in practice, the players will respond very effectively to this pitching machine, but it takes a little bit of dialing in, getting used to, and using your speed settings here to determine what the appropriate settings are to hit the speeds that you want to hit. So that's kind of the overview of the machine. The last piece of this is kind of on the portability of this machine. So they're all designed to be lightweight and portable. They should fit in the trunk of a car or in the back of a truck or whatever. One thing you can do if you're laying this in the trunk of a car, you can loosen this cross brace here, just like that, and it'll allow you to lay this machine flat in the back of a car. So it makes it very convenient to take anywhere. It's not a big cumbersome item, doesn't require electricity, so makes it simple to take anywhere, whether you're practicing fly balls, grounders, or pitches with your team, or whatever you really want to do, whatever application you see for this one.